Hello everyone, I'm Donald Gray Drury and I'm a DUI defense attorney in Northern California. In fact, my office is located centrally in San Leandro, California, which allows me to service all of the communities around us, including San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland, Pleasanton, Walnut Creek. And today I'm here to talk to you about a new law that's going into effect beginning January 1st, 2009. It's already been signed by the governor and it's already been assigned a vehicle code section, 23154. And it deals with people who are on probation for a DUI. Now, essentially it started out as a good law, but they really didn't think it through, and so a lot of innocent people are going to be hurt. If you're under 21, we have a no tolerance of alcohol for any person under 21 drinking and driving, as do most states. And in California, you're only required to take what's called a preliminary alcohol screening test. That's this little machine here, or one similar to it. And if you blow a .01, no tolerance, you've got alcohol, they can take your license for a year. As an adult, if you're over 21, you have the right to refuse that test. You still can be required to take the chemical test, but you have the right to refuse this test. Beginning January 1st, 2009, if you're on probation for a DUI, just like somebody under 21, you will be required to take this test. And it's a bad deal. The reason is, if you refuse that particular test, you'll lose your license for a year. On the other hand, if you take the test, and just like somebody under 21, you blow a 01 or greater, you'll lose your license for a year. And the problem with it is this. They don't maintain these machines the same way that they do the regular chemical machines. Lots of departments don't use licensed laboratories to maintain the machines. They have a police officer that they've trained. I've been through the course, and so I'm qualified to do accuracy and calibration checks on these machines. But I'm not a forensic alcohol supervisor, and I'm not a licensed laboratory. And you can make mistakes with these. A lot of these police officers don't have that type of training. They don't do the accuracy checks according to the law every 10 days or 150 blows, whichever comes first. And in addition to that, they make a lot of other mistakes in the testing. But worse than all of that is that they're now going to rely on a preliminary alcohol screening test to take your license. And that is just outrageous. This machine makes a lot of errors. It is designed to give an alcohol reading, but other substances, we know other substances interfere and act as if they were alcohol. So what are those substances? Well, two of them, white bread will do it. Don't know why, but it will. Soy sauce. You can go to your local supermarket and pick up some soy sauce. There's no alcohol in soy sauce. And yet, you can take a test, blow 000, swish some soy sauce around in your mouth. Imagine if you'd been out having a whole dinner that had soy sauce in it or something similar to that. Blow into the machine, and it'll read as an alcohol reading. I mean, that's just outrageous, especially if they're going to take your license off of it. And we're going to give you a little demonstration on how this works. If you were out in the street and the officer suspected that you were stopped for, say, having a taillight out, but they ran your license and they found out that you were on probation for DUI, the officer says, "Oh, I want you to take this preliminary alcohol screening test." So what does he do? He starts it by putting in a brand new mouthpiece. And then, of course, it runs through a little cycle. It gives you the temperature, it gives you the date, it gives you the name of the test, it then does an air blank, and it does all these little things and checks, and it should come up .000 before he tells you to take a test, and it'll tell him to test, and that's when he's going to have you blow into the machine. And so I'm going to have my assistant, Araceli, assist me here today. And as soon as we get a .000 and it says test, I'm going to have her take a deep breath, seal her lips around the mouthpiece, and then blow nice and steady. You'll hear a little pitch going off, and when she runs out of air, you'll hear it click, and then all of her breath will go down into the machine and it should register. And because there's no alcohol in her, she hasn't been drinking, she should come back with a .00. It comes back very quickly. Okay, Araceli, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, we'll follow that over. Take a deep breath. machine is analyzing, and there you are, a .000. No alcohol in Araceli at all. Now, what we're going to do while that machine is recalibrating is we're going to take some soy sauce that we've just purchased at the market, and we do this with all the clients that come into our office to show them just how bad these machines are. And if you, of course, are not on probation, you should never take one of these machines. At least in California, you're not required to. In fact, the officer is required to tell you by law that you don't have to take that, although they rarely do. So we're going to reset the machine, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to have Araceli take the soy sauce and just swish it around in her mouth. Don't drink it. She's going to swish it around, and then we're going to reset the machine. Now again, we reset the machine by placing the mouthpiece into the machine, and that starts the whole process all over again. It goes through the whole cycle, and as it's doing that, Araceli is swishing that soy sauce around in her mouth. Now, imagine if you'd been out having a Japanese dinner or something like that. You had sushi or something that contained some type of soy sauce, and it was just still in your mouth and stuck in your mouth. You'd have mouth alcohol that this machine would actually register as mouth alcohol, even though you didn't have any alcohol in you. Or supposing you had one or two drinks and you'd had this, you could see where you can obviously increase the alcohol level just with that alone. So let me check the machine. It says test, so Araceli's going to spit that out and immediately take a deep breath and blow again. And we're going to focus in on those numbers because they're going to come right up as she finishes blowing. Okay, and you'll see that it's analyzing at this point, and analyzing and analyzing. And the reason it's taking longer is because it thinks that there's alcohol in there. And so we're waiting for it. There it is, a .12 with no alcohol. But once it resets, I will do a recall. It's going to say to set. And once it does that, I'm going to recall it. You'll be able to see that number again. And that's all I'm waiting for. It takes a few seconds. Now it says set, so we push the set. Now we're allowed to hit the recall, and there's the number, the .12. Now, .08, you're illegal in this state, let alone .01. And that's the problem with these machines. It registers something other than alcohol as alcohol. And so if you're arrested and you're on probation and you're required to take this, make sure you get a DUI lawyer and do it immediately. Have them get all the records on this machine and fight that, because it's obviously not going to be correct. And that's your tip for the day. For more information, check us out at DUIoffice.com on the web. A lot of other interesting information. But that's a new law that's going into effect beginning January 9. If you're on probation, don't refuse this, but get a lawyer right away. I'm Donald Gray Drury in San Leandro, California.